Hey, before the video starts, I just want to say on stream I said this was a 4.3k team, but I'm not sure what the actual SR of this team is. It might or it might not be, but I just wanted to say that before this VOD review starts. Thanks for watching. Ball, Monkey, Soldier, Echo, Ana, Brig. We're playing kind of spam dive hybrid kind of thing. I'm just gonna read my notes. So both teams are on dive spam hybrid. Thanks, Echo. Yeah, this is Echo meta right here with team one oriented towards spam and team two oriented towards hard dive. They got D.Va Ball, Lucio, Tracer, Echo, and Ana. So team one is vulnerable to Ball, Echo, and Tracer. So we're gonna see right here in just half a second they're gonna scout, and then team one is vulnerable to a dive on Ana. So the Ball, Echo, and Tracer, they should all be looking where are they going to go onto our Ana. The enemy tanks, the attacking tanks, already have tempo onto our team. So we need to immediately try to regain tempo through counter diving or preventing dives. So first diving. Their win condition is the team one win condition: survive the first dive and spam out the enemies. So basically right now, if we know, or if team one knows that they have an Ari and they have an Ana, Jesus, too much League of Legends, and they don't have any CC towards to peel for the Ana. If they have flankers like Ball, Echo, and Tracer on the flank, and they only have Lucio, D.Va peeling for Ana, they're going to do absolutely nothing against Monkey Ball. So that is one vulnerability of team two. Let's see. Yeah, so the win condition for team two is dive in for team one. No, the win condition is survive the dive, fight long enough to benefit from spam, and either counter dive or dive the enemy backline. Now let's go ahead and watch this. So before the fight, team one positions on high ground, but fails to either abuse their high ground advantage and pushes the enemy while they're on rotation around coast. Why can I not hear this? Hello. Oh. Give me just a second. Okay. Hopefully that didn't screw with the recording. I don't think it did. Alright, so let's watch this. So red team takes coast side. We immediately scouted before this, so we knew their team blue team knew their team composition. I keep on saying we. I gotta be unbiased in these. Blue team knew the team composition of red team. The blue team immediately knows that they're trying to head on this side. They see Tracer, they see the Echo. They don't know where the Ball is, so they should be keeping tabs on where the Ball is. Ball is on the side, so if we look from Brig perspective, I already know what's going to happen here, but it's quite unfortunate. So Brig perspective protecting Rihanna. They're playing for spam, playing on high ground. Brig bashes the Ball and she goes off of high ground. So right here, this immediately is like yikers mode, because if you look at the space, the red team has all the space in the world right now. They're set up with how many lanes? One in main, one on side, and another on high ground here. 3 lanes here to dive the enemy Ana. So we should be looking for counter dive. Sorry, blue team should be looking for counter dive here. Blue team did not punish the enemy red team for going coast by setting their Winston up and setting the Ball to dive right here on the Ana when she's out in the open here, exposed to the DPS, and force the red team to take their tempo back and re-counter dive. So it's going to be a situation of basically they're still on defense. Blue team's still on defense. Okay, right here, this is what I noticed immediately. Just pause screening, looking at target focusing. Brig is down here chasing out the Tracer. Ana's peeling for the Brig, and they're peeling for each other. The position is pretty much compromised. The blue team's in a losing position. They lost their high ground advantage because the enemy has so many lanes onto them. So now, if you're trying to play for spam, you're going to try to play for lanes. How many counter angles do you have onto the enemy? How many off angles do you have? How many flanks? How many really just angles? So they only have one angle up here, and it's compromised. Echo up here, Lucio in main, Ana in main, D.Va in main, Tracer flanking behind them, and Ball on top of them. So they need to immediately either back up or counter dive to maintain the space. You see the enemy Ball goes in, and then the Echo follows up. The enemy team is running a 2-4 dive, so that means they have 2 people diving the backline, and the rest of the people are with their Ana here on point, focusing the objective. That's basically saying, we're not going to let you dive our backline, so you either kill the people that we dive with and win the fight that way, or you completely hard dive the Ana, which it'll be very hard to kill the Ana with this much peel and ignoring these two people on your backline. They're playing to benefit off of these two people making space, and then for these people to move in after them. So the blue team, what they need to do, let's see. Yeah, a dangerous sign in our comp was that there was no counter-rotating or pressuring the enemies in the fight for the ground, which we wanted to prevent dives, yeah. So the small opportunity of like preventing them from getting over here, using our spam and counter diving and abusing that spam, like soft diving, just really soft diving. Soft dive the rotate. We know that they don't have any CC to counter our ball, so our ball slams. They're gonna use some abilities, maybe boop, maybe even sleep. But if 4-man with shields, you're at like 900 HP. You're not going to die against those enemies, especially with not with the enemy ball and echo over here. And Ball wasn't even getting that deterred by the Tracer. She was doing her job deterring him, but I feel like the blue team missed an opportunity to dive on rotate. Let's see, so Engage was really shitty with the Brig falling off. That's not her fault, that was complete BS. So purely positioning wise for the blue team right now, they're on a 1-5 split, which means Monkey is solo diving the enemy backline, and then Echo is kind of with these other people. Not really, but it's really scuffed. These people are playing to regroup. Echo's trying to initiate onto someone. Monkey's trying to initiate onto someone else and create space like that. We cannot create space like we're in Brawl here. Monkey maybe instinctively playing like a Reinhardt player and trying to keep space by staying on the objective and holding space. Dive is indirect space, so diving targets will create space, not just sitting in the place. So Monkey tries his best to stall on point, and then right here, this immediately says to me, this is regrouping phase. We lost first point. This is done. Unless we have ultimates, the first point is going to be very, very hard to take back here. The enemy only lost their Echo for this, but they have so much space, we either need to regroup, or we need to commit to this fight and die here. Alright, so this right here, this is like, you hit this spot, and to me this says, Ball dies point, everyone else gets out, and we don't waste another 2 minutes regrouping. I think this team does it okay. Yeah, Ball dies here, everyone else gets out. Don't waste another 2 minutes regrouping. To prevent this from next time, look at the scouting phase for our tanks, identify what everyone needs to be diving or counter diving. I feel like the Echo player especially was kind of just floating around. Monkey was also floating and Ball was just looking for opportunities. Shot caller needs to call that. Needs to call the coordination on that. Okay, so right here, immediately after first point, one thing to notice, we don't swap. We feel very confident on this team composition when it didn't work the first time. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing multiple times and trying to bash our head into the wall and expect a different result. What I would recommend here is Soldier 76 immediately swaps to McCree. If you look at it, counters Ball, counters Echo, counters Lucio, kind of, counters Tracer, or at least gives an easier skill matchup for than the Soldier, and not really anything against the Ana, but you know, you're not going to be flanking very much on either Soldier or McCree, and if Ana's caught out of position, it's pretty much you kill the Ana anyways, either on Soldier or McCree. That shouldn't matter. But mostly, you prevent the enemy dives here. That's the main point, because you already have a break, so that was like lucky, or no, it was strategy to roll out on a break to prevent a dive onto your Ana. But it was evident that they dive with 2 people. You didn't have enough peel for your Ana. This point might be the same, but it's probably going to be the same because the enemy has ult advantage since they won the first point. So you want to counter pick the enemy team and make sure that even though they have ultimates, they're not going to swap because they have ultimates. Or they are not going to swap because they have their ultimates. They're not just going to forfeit their ultimate advantage to counterpick your counterpick. So if you're on Kree here, they have to use their ultimates and play a shitty matchup into your McCree. So that's one of the main reasons in counterpicking. I mean, same goes even if you have the ultimate advantage. It just makes it even harder for the enemy team. And then they have to use resources. If you think about it, don't restrict yourself to one composition and think at that composition, what are the resources in that composition? Swapping is a resource, kind of. Maybe resource is not the right word, but swapping is a strategy to help your team out. Okay, starting off in team fight number 2. This is a really good initiation. Monkey, we immediately focus. We play for spam. The enemies don't dive our backline because we're playing in a good high ground position. Enemy D.Va is close to losing mech. We force their nano, and watch what happens next. This is a really bad miscommunication error. So we're still engaged here. Our monkey jumps out, and we're not fast enough on this, like, getting out. Their ball's in our backline, so we're trying to deal with the ball. We don't have peel for echo. We should make the call immediately. They use nano. Huge. That's huge. That's one ultimate off the enemy team that blue team immediately already negated off the next fight. Regroup, punish the people in our backline or in the blue team's backline, and then re-go in, and that's a really winnable fight. Not one, but it's way more winnable than without you forcing that nano. Okay, this fight here, blue team immediately loses the echo, but the good thing is red team has card all the way back here. What I would say is punish these enemies, deal with these guys first, deal with these guys. The enemy is in a 4-2 dive, which means that they have Ana back here and Lucio in between, like towards the Ana, with 4 people trying to dive your backline. You want to go on the defense and send all 6 people and punish these people in your backline, and then that way you can recontest the point after dealing with these people, and you're down in echo, but 5-4 isn't that bad. And dealing with these people first before going on the initiative onto the enemy. Nano Monkey is a good plan, but not in this situation. If you look at it, Nano Monkey he has no DPS following up. He is in the middle of the enemy backline by himself. He doesn't have what's it called, ultimate, to be able to outplay the enemies. So he gets slept, he gets dealt with. D.Va Bomb comes through onto the blue team backline. Blue team calls for regroup, I think. Monkey's just in. This is a really bad position to go in. It's 5v6, or 5v4 if we look over here, 5v6 if we go over here, because the enemy team will back up and regroup with their 2 other people. The number one thing that I would say here is really harsh miscommunication on ult tracking and planning. If you look at it now, after Monkey dies, now blue team's in a situation where Cart's approaching the last stretch into the point, versus when it was over here, if they just regrouped as soon as Echo got picked, they might be able to fight this next fight. Monkey dies here, completely staggers the blue team. Blue team does not have ultimate advantage on the red team. This fight is looking very grim. I don't think that they'll win this next fight, and if they do, it'll be a really good play by them. But they forfeited Nano Visor, they forfeited Nano Monkey with ult, they forfeited Nano Echo. Red team's going to have supposedly is going to have beat to be able to counter the Visor and or the copy. So this next fight is looking kind of sketchy for the blue team. Okay, so this is good. No one's over aggressing. I mean, it's a 4.3 team. I'd hope not. I do believe that we need to kind of... This is almost over aggressing because our team doesn't support our supports here. This team could have fought for and kept this space and tried to deflect the red team's dive, but no one's ready to follow up, so yikes, that's kind of an over aggress. Okay, this is kind of a yikes, to be honest. Blue team's just burning ultimates with no coordination. Red team is coordinatedly diving. Blue team's kind of a disaster. We're trying to play for spam, not coordinating the ultimates together, not regrouping properly. So red team's just running 2-4 right now. They've got the advantage, so it's basically the entire enemy team, or entire red team, plus or minus the Lucio, is just in the blue team. And they're just completely staggering them. Blue team needs to just AFK and reset. Yeah, so if blue team just AFKs and resets here, it'll honestly be better than what I've been seeing before. Okay, so still, we didn't swap to anything. Remember, no, I'm gonna recommend again, the Kree swap is very good against these enemies. You can cancel, like, what is it? You can cancel one ult, you can kill the Tracer and force her to use her ult in a risky play. You can basically shut down the Echo ultimate, you can cancel beat. I mean, versus Soldier 76, which is playing for spam. At this point doesn't have very much high grounds, so maybe Soldier 76 wouldn't be the best pick if you wanted to play someone that goes like long range. Maybe something like Ashe, if you're more of a like far hit scan player. Ashe, and then we can have our main healer swap to Mercy.
Winston, adaptive circuits engaged. D.Va.
Okay, let me look at this again. I wasn't looking at the tanks. So, what is this? We go into like a 3-3 dive. So Echo's spamming here, Soldier spamming on the side. Ball calls go in. They use nano copy. We call dive. I don't think that this is a very good dive. Blue team isn't really calling a target to dive here, so it's kind of sus. It should have been the Ana, but the scouting wasn't really there, so the monkey kind of jumped in on nothing. The ball had a decent engage, got mines on quite a few people, but effectively just destroyed. And let's watch the backline here. So because Ana and Brig don't have any peel from their team, their Soldier and Echo are more focused on off angles and spamming out the enemy team. It's going to be very hard to survive a dive, so they need to save all their cooldowns for each other. Brig used her cooldowns. Let me see how Brig used her cooldowns. Let's just look at the micro here. Has no packs for the dive. That's not too alarming. Bashed that. Got caught out of position. Brig still has ultimate. She could have used it there. I think actually the better decision is to save the ultimates and dry fight this. Force the enemy ultimates out. Once you already used 2 ultimates in their backline, if they use 4 to dive your backline, fuck it, they use 4. You're winning the next fight. Okay, so the red team overextends. They should have just taken their advantage and just pushed card and regrouped. Okay, I'm not quite sure about that, but okay, this is a fuck fest. I need to rewind this and see what's going on. Okay, so blue team's tanks are in the red team's objective, or basically backline. To recontest this point, blue team uses rally. That's not a bad decision. Okay, I want to see this from red team's perspective. What are they doing? Okay, so this is really good from the blue team. This is really good from the blue team. The reason, I think the number one reason why they won this fight is they didn't let the red team have time to reset. They immediately just kept on pummeling and pummeling into them. Their tanks were in the backline diving together, compared to the first and second points where the tanks were completely separate. That created so much space for the DPS. The DPS were able to prolong the fight, and from there the red team doesn't have anything. Looks like the red team swaps to Soldier 76. Okay, so that makes our pick more relevant. That's good. The blue team's Soldier 76 pick is more relevant. Nano Monkey here is kind of really early. You don't set the tempo unless you actually have something to do. I think Nano Soldier would be a really good idea here. Once they dive, Soldier go on a flank in Nano and destroy the enemy backline. Situation dependent. Maybe the Monkey saw something that he can dive on the enemy backline. It looks like a miscommunication. Monkey's caught out here. No one's able to peel for him. The enemy ball is in the blue backline. So blue team loses both tanks and they need to desperately regroup. Where's the Echo? I want to see the positioning. Okay, so everyone's by spawn doors. They should just run it back into the spawn doors and not get staggered here until the last fight. Yeah, okay, so that's what they do. Okay, the Soldier 76 is kind of overextending. See, they're 2 down here. This is like really communication intensive. When you're 2 down, you need to either regroup or you call the fight as winnable and you use ultimates to take the fight. Like, just from like an outside perspective, if you look at it, if it's a 4v6, you're not winning a 4v6 unless the enemy is down on health, positioning, or resources. Like cooldowns, health, positioning, on cooldowns, and cooldowns is the most prominent one. It's usually the most seen one. So that's ultimates, and blue team does not have the ultimates unless they nano visored into the enemy team to 4v6 this. Okay, so now the red team is playing for chokeholds. They're just spamming into chokeholds using their tanks to hold chokeholds. Oops. Ball goes on to point to spam. It's going in solo. Where's the enemy? Where's the other tank? I think the other tank was coming back from spawn. Okay, so both balls use their ultimates on cart. What I'm seeing a common thing is the ball and monkey aren't playing together, so they can be diving the enemy Ana. Now that the red team has a break though, it's kind of a bit more difficult. But this enemy Ana is out in the middle of nowhere, and if they force their cooldowns onto the Ana, they will get counter dived. That's like 100%. They will get counter dived, but it'll create so much space for the DPS.
D.Va, booster on.
So basically at this point is all space. I think the tanks not working together and identifying the weak points of their compositions versus the enemies didn't create enough space for our DPS to be able to play for our advantages, which was spam. Playing long fights and trying to survive the enemy dives by creating space or by counter diving. Playing for long fights, damage over time, and using that soldier and echo. Blue team can still take this back. They have ultimates. I think that they do. Red team is taking this fight out, yeah. So it looks like blue team does do good with the mines and monkey contesting point there. Instead of diving, just contest the point and create enough space for your DPS. And I think it was a lot more punishing the enemy flank. They're on soldier echo now, and they tried like holding really close, and their ball is like playing dive-esque rather than playing for a stalled out victory with the soldier and echo. Okay, so they nano ball really early. Blue team re-engages with nano monkey onto the back line. Again, ball can help with that dive. Usually what you see is off tank gets the main tank onto the enemy, and then main tank sustains that space created by the off tank. So whether that be D.Va Matrix getting the monkey in, or the ball pile drive distracting everyone so the monkey can dive in, the ball pile drive will force cooldowns like shield bash and sleep so the monkey doesn't get slept, and then the monkey will keep the space with the bubble and his large hitbox.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
So blue team still has a lot of ultimates here. The longer this fight goes on, probably the better for the blue team. They have spawn advantage, and they have they're playing for spam. I mean, it's basically even right now, like even when it comes to team comps. Mirror.
Need healing.
They have ball D.Va.
60 seconds.
Blue team has ball monkey.
Get behind me.
Need healing.
Okay, so here the enemy swaps to double shield. Oh, that's so dirty. Okay, and then okay, immediately as soon as you see this, you should identify their vulnerabilities. Now their vulnerabilities are this soldier 76 who's always going to be flanking. Either that or just straight up diving their backline and forcing everyone to go in together to dive their backline. I don't think that the communication was made that the enemy switched. So the scouting phase is really needs some work. The soldiers out here, the Echo's up here with the Sigma, and Echo just dies here because Echo gets flanked. Not even flanked, Echo's just out of position because she doesn't know that the enemy team is coming in hard like that. Okay, so both teams use their ultimates early. This is last fight. That's a huge Bionade. There's no one to follow up there. Hiding the enemy. This is good. The engagement here is a bit better. I think with the ball monkey on the Baptiste who's out of position, this is really good. The copy onto Brigitte, I'm not sure about that. I think maybe copying Sigma here. When playing against Double Shield, copying Sigma is always really good. You force a lot of cooldowns with that Flux. Your team, because you're playing dive spam, copying Brigitte might be not the best decision because you're in the enemies. Your goal is to kill people right now. Your backline is already gone. If you copy Brigitte, your goal with that is to help your backline survive a dive or survive the enemies. Yeah, so you're not able to stall out that point there. blue team is just trying to recontest here. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of things that the blue team can work on.
0 to 3. Switching sides.
It's kind of a yikes. Looks to me like the players don't know their roles very well. The support line has their job down pretty well. The tanks aren't coordinated together, so even if they're both extraordinary, like, solo queue players, it looks like the enemy team's coordination in their tank line is just completely superior right now. And that's really screwing up the entire tempo of the game, so we need to watch. The blue team needs to watch out for that.
Ready for battle.
Okay, come on, let's keep on going. Where does it start? Brother. Okay, here we go. So, immediately looking team comps again. Dive, spam, dive, spam hybrid. Dive, spam, not dive. Dive, spam hybrid. Vulnerabilities and weaknesses, Soldier 76 and Ana probably. Our strengths, weak points, we have double dive tanks, can go really hard onto them. Counters the D.Va pretty well because of the cooldown based like wave. Echo and Tracer do get like shut down by the D.Va, but I think that if Echo really does a lot of damage to D.Va and is able to pressure her over the long term, I think the thing here is tanks create space with soft dive, probably play for just Echo damage boost.
Boosting up.
Okay, so blue team's going high ground here with Echo flanking top right, or top coast. Alright. Blue team's not really looking for a dive here. I think they're looking to contest choke. Maybe reposition here. It feels like blue team's kind of wasting time getting themselves set up. Okay, let me look at the positioning here. So Tracer's on the flank, good. Ball's on the flank, good. Monkey is in main, that's good. Echo Mercy up here on the flank, that's fine. I would recommend them going main instead though, because you don't necessarily need to put your Mercy in that much of danger, and you can keep your Mercy and Echo here in main and be able to support and follow up on a dive without them being on the flank. Because here you put your Mercy at such a really like dangerous angle. If the enemy Soldier 6 has an angle onto your Mercy, she's disconnected from the Ana and she can't go in. Let me watch this stage to the dive here. Monkey soft dives top. Okay. I mean, Ana Brigand Soldier. So I think the best thing to do here, the red team needs to look at the enemy Ana. She's out in the open by herself. Okay, ball goes in, initiates, nice. The cooldowns are wasted on the ball. The monkey goes in, and that's a huge anti-nade. Ana's caught out of position. This should be an easy fight. Where did Tracer come in from? Why did she die? She's coming in from the side. This is good. I think Tracer just got outplayed. Crosshair placement for Tracer, just one small thing. We're looking at the ground here. Good tracking, just don't die. Micro-esque things. I don't want to go into detail on that right now. I mean, I can, but there's a whole book to open. Okay, so this is good. They don't have main heal, so blue team's just playing, what's it called? Slow.
Winston.
God, why did it take me so long to find that word? Echo on the backline, easy cleanup. Winston just jump in, destroy their backline, try to stagger them. This is good. Oh, that team is not on point. What a tragedy. Alright.
Stop the payload.
I feel like blue team could have punished the enemy team there while they were regrouping, but that's completely fine. Taking the point? Okay, the D.Va's absolutely staggered. Blue team pushes up, Ana stays on cart. Yeah, I was about to say Tracer don't stay on cart. No, Tracer don't stay on cart. Tracer, you can get so much done not staying on the cart, you have so much to live for. Okay, so red team is fully regrouped pretty much. Blue team initiates onto this fight. I think this should be a disengagement. You force 2 ultimates or 3 ultimates for 1, for 2. As soon as you heard the soldier ultimate pop, I think that you just get out. Soldier ultimate is absolutely going to destroy your team in this position out in the open. Even though he's not on high ground, you still need to just absolutely get out, and I think that's exactly what blue team does. It's really good gameplay. Okay, so both healers on the backline. That's good. Tracer doesn't realize that the team's tempo is going on defense here, so Tracer dies. Okay, going into this fight here, I think all of red team is here, right? Yeah, all of red team is here. I don't necessarily think that this is the greatest fight ever. You do have spawn advantage, but your Tracer is still coming back from spawn. You can wait for your Tracer to get around on the flank, wait for one of your tanks to get on the flank, or wait for your Balt to start engaging before you copy. The copy is very early, and it gives the red team an ability to, instead of committing to this fight, just say, okay, back out, everyone run. We're just gonna run and kite this ultimate. Okay, red team does initiate into this fight too. That's a really bad mistake for Tracer to die to that. That's just, Tracer's bad. Just, Tracer should not have that happen again. Enemy soldier should be getting really punished here. Yeah, okay. Look, 2 chasing, that's fine.
Feeling powerful.
And blue team should just be able to clean this up. Both the tanks are working together there to dive the enemy backline. That's good. So compared to the defense, I feel like this team, blue team, knows dive very well on offense. Okay, so I would say that keep your Ana on the cart instead of your monkey. Your monkey can do more creating space over here and preventing them from touching the cart. Okay, so the red team dives blue team backline. The blue team does not have ultimates for this. The Echo gets kind of caught out. Okay, things could have gone worse, but identifying that they had ult tracking to identify that they had that ultimate, that's what I'm going to default to saying. Of course, you know, we don't have a psychic on our team telling us they have nano monkey and they're going to initiate with it, but playing around that ultimate and saying we have no ultimates, play this team fight slow. Don't go out and waste your resources. Just play it slow, and then we'll gain our ultimates and win this next fight, or we'll force them on objective to use their ultimates, and then we'll back out and then re-go in. There's no reason to fight a 6v6 when the enemy has more ultimates. Ball initiates with mines, goes in by himself. I feel like that's kind of a bit of a miscommunication because the entire enemy backline is on this, so it's like a 1-5 dive again. What we saw earlier. When this team was on defense, 1 person in the enemy backline, 5 people deflecting a dive. Winston. That's not good, again. Okay, so it's a 2-4 dive. I recommend 4-2 or 2-2. It's either you destroy your own backline in hopes of killing the entire enemy team, or sorry, 4-2 or 3-3. Or you deflect the enemy dive while half soft diving the enemy.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Winston.
Okay, so it looks like you punish the enemy, or the blue team punishes the enemy really well. I think the number one thing that the red team did really terribly right there is they hard overextended into that dive. They committed 2 ultimates into diving the blue team backline when they were so far out their DPS couldn't even follow up. That was like half their team. It was a 3-3 dive into a 5-man. Okay, so both tanks working together on this Ana. You like to see it. Okay. Let me see what happened in the blue team backline here. The red team backline is getting absolutely destroyed right there. That is good.
Hello.
That is what should be happening. Okay, so that's a yikes. Ana missing sleep on the ball. She deserves to die there. Not to be mean or anything, but she deserves to die there. The blue team, I feel like, could have peeled for the Ana really easily right there. Tracer's job is to deter the ball from flanking, and the ball gets an easy flank onto the back line there. So Rez is used on the Ana. Almost cancel the mines there. That's pretty cool. Okay, so red team has rally, blue team has mines, both support ults, both DPS ultimates. Red team is trying to play this fight out slowly. We know that blue team knows that they just use mines. Blue team knows that they also use Copy and Nano in the last fight, with Monkey ult in the fight before that. So they might have Monkey ult. Blue team should know that they're up on ultimates here, and either focus the target and burn through that rally, or wait it out and play slow. I would wait it out and play slow. Actually, let me think about that for a second. I don't want to say anything rash and then have it be a bad decision. No, you have like every ultimate in the game. Blue team can just run them in here.
Winston.
Yeah. That's exactly what happens. Maybe if they were on Brawl, then you can play slow. No, not even then. On Spam, maybe, then you can play it slow. Like Double Shield, then you can play it slow if they waste like Window or Mirror. Or Window or Bongo. And then you play it slow, but in this situation, you have 5 ultimates. So Nano into Copy, Pulse Bomb. I think the number one thing from that fight is they used the ultimates with no intent of diving the enemies, so they didn't get any value out of them. Really, that was a waste. 4 ultimates for nothing. Red team has ult advantage here. They should win this next fight. So Ana really needs to save sleep for herself on the Monkey. Okay, that's good. Okay, so the red team's burning all their ultimates here. Blue team did a good job dry fighting. Compared to the last time, blue team didn't engage super hard into this engagement. Let them use the ultimates, kited them out, traded resources for space. Okay, so here Monkey's being pressured on the front line. Monkey's almost dead. Red team's initiating. They're going really far in. I think the blue team should win this because the red team's really overextending. They're sending 3-3 dive, but it's a really bad 3-3 dive.
Feeling powerful. Area denied.
Okay, so it's fine if you have your Monkey 1-5 diving into the enemy backline if the Monkey has primal, same thing with the Echo, but Echo, you can have a tank follow up with the Echo because another tank like Ball in the enemy backline with this primaling Monkey is good. So if we have our Ball or our Tracer over here on the Ana, that would be really nice. Nano Monkey onto the backline. Okay, one thing I like to do is called target focusing. Target focus checking. Do this with my other teams a lot. Immediately look at the frame. Okay, so Monkey in the backline. Everyone should be looking at Monkey. This should be a shred Monkey moment. None of the enemies are here. These two are on very far off angle. Ana and Brig are over here. They're not playing aggressive. This Monkey is overextending. So Ball, don't know what he's looking at. I'll come back to him. Looking at Monkey, not looking at Monkey, looking at Monkey, looking at Monkey, looking at Monkey. Okay, let's see what Ball's looking at. Not looking at Monkey, looking at Monkey, not looking at Monkey. Let me go back a couple of frames. That was actually just a very bad spot. Okay, looking at monkey. Looking at monkey. Not looking at monkey. Looking at monkey. Looking at monkey. Looking at monkey. And Chaser's not looking at monkey. So the call here should be focus the monkey down. And if we have all 6 targets shooting the enemy monkey, and then we Bionade or just get any form of CC onto him, he should be shredded really hard since he's out in front of our team or blue team. The monkey is just flaringly out of position, but with Nano. Okay, so there's no target focus. You get punished immediately. The enemy has the ult advantage. The main flaw in this round here was the last point. Burn 4 ultimates for nothing. There was no dive onto the enemy backline because the enemy, the red team Brig was rallying. So, I mean, using ultimates when you have them isn't a bad idea, but if you don't use them efficiently, you'll get 0 value out of them. Alright, that's that.
Victory.